Welcome on stage, Pavel. Great to have you in our event today. And I know the time zone challenge communication is, but we are so happy to have you. Congratulations for your new fund and everything. So glad to hear you. So you go ahead, start.
Yeah, thank you, David. And you've been a great coach to me, and I've actually grown coming to your events and working with your community. So I'm very thankful for everything you do here.
Wow, that's great to hear. And you should support more our communities. Now you have big money.
Yeah, you have me in. I'm all in. So I don't have such a formal presentation as Ido. I'm sorry, guys. But I'll tell you about our fund and the strategy that we sort of invented for ourselves. And I came to this business from the entrepreneur's background. I was 3 times successful founder, not counting how many times unsuccessful founder. And then I also I helped to build business for Adobe and Microsoft in Eastern Europe. And then I realized that I burned out as a founder. I definitely don't want to spend my life in corporate world. So the only option left for me was to become an investor, and I grew from an angel investor, doing small checks of my own money, then first seed fund, which became a complete disaster. I lost all the money that I invested in it, and a lot of my investors' money. Then the second fund, which was a great success, and so now I have I run my own venture company called Mindrock Capital. We're based here in Silicon Valley, working with individual investors, entrepreneurs like myself from all over the world. And over the last 5 years approximately that we do this, it grew to close to $1 billion under management now, and about 60% average annual return that we're giving to our investors. So investors are happy and we are happy, and I'm looking forward to extend this business even further. And the main driver for me personally in this business is that I think this is a dream job. All of what I do is I dream about how the future of the humanity should look like. And then when I have a clear dream of this, I can define this dream as a certain configuration where humanity is going. And then I'm reaching out to startups who can build the trajectory of this movement from where we are now to where my dream is. And I think that evolution and the general progress of humanity is a very good tailwind for this whole process. So if we define a good dream for everyone, if we say, we all want to be rich, we want all to be healthy and live a long life, we all want to realize ourselves socially and creatively in doing things for other people, right? So this kind of configuration is something that everybody of us wants to go there. So now we can divide this dream into specific areas where we want to develop, and we can find startups who help us build this. So our approach is very different from traditional private equity or many of the venture investors who focus on certain pains that currently exist, right? And they say, okay, what is the pain that you are trying to solve? What is the fear you're working with? And we don't like the idea of relying only on the past experience to define the future, because the future is very different from what from what the past was. We can't just extrapolate whatever was happening into the future and think that this is going to work. We would rather define a new configuration, and we would build our investment thesis based on the future, based on the dream of the future, than on the experience of the past. And this helps us look at startups from a completely different perspective. Instead of looking into the pains and analyzing the previous experience, we would say, okay, what is the dream that this startup is making come true? What's going to take for this? What will it take for the startup to actually bring us to that configuration? And then we can assign certain probability of how much we believe into this particular startup being able to implement this particular dream, right? And then we can say, okay, it doesn't really matter what happened with this startup before. We don't care if it had ups or downs or where it went. We don't care about what was the P&L like for the startup for the last 3 years. We only care about how much we believe that this startup can achieve this dream that we all share, right? And by looking into the future instead of analyzing the past, we've rebuilt the whole investment process and the whole investment strategy. And I think based on our experience so far, we've done a pretty good job with this. So if you ever want to come pitch me with some ideas, don't pitch me with the problems that that you have or other people have. Pitch me with the dream of the future. And dream of the future has it's a multi-variable. We have a lot of options when we look into the future, right? Including new markets that didn't exist yet. And we've done this with the self-driving cars market. We've invested, for example, in early stage like Luminar. They're now $6 billion companies public. 4 years ago, it was a startup with a 21-year-old founder and a big dream and nothing else. And then when other private equity funds would say, hey, for us to invest, we need to understand what's the market size, who's going to pay, how much. And it's because the market wasn't there, it was impossible to make this kind of decision. But if you look into the future and you say, okay, we know that the cars are going to be self-driving inevitably. We know that it's only the matter of time, and it's the matter of our knowledge about this domain for somebody to come with a solution that can make this happen. So by investing into this dream, we say we know that the company will find the business model. We know that this will all work out if the value that the startup is bringing is large enough to solve everything else. We did the same with the education market, and I'm very passionate about the whole education, because I think the core to our success in building the future that we want is about knowledge. So we have access to all the energy, we have all the tools necessary. The only thing we need to do is first define a dream where we want to go, and second, we need to find knowledge on how we get into that configuration of the future. And when you think about this as only the function of the dream and the knowledge, and it's not the function of money, it's not the function of government regulations or any other of the parameters, you can look at any startup from a completely different perspective. And that's what we're doing, and that's what making me excited about this. And I had this realization several years ago when I was when I asked the question to myself, so what do I want to do when I retire? And then I realized, and I was thinking about this for several years, and then I realized that I'm going to do what I'm doing now for the rest of my life, because I'm enjoying every moment of this process. And yes, that's pretty much what I wanted to tell you. We're on a more formal basis. We're very opportunistic, so we don't have a specific investment mandate or investment thesis that we are following. We're just looking. We're constantly working with the founders and now universities and scientific institutions to define these two features, to find the best dream for the humanity and to increase the function of our knowledge about how to build this configuration. Oh, and David, let me just give one example of how a dream looks, right? When I was thinking about how to explain this, take an example of Uber, right? What is the dream that Uber implemented or made real? And the dream is when, like 10 years ago, you get out of a bar or a nightclub, 3 a.m. in the morning, and you're drunk and it's rainy and it's cold, and you are standing out there at the entrance of this bar, thinking about, dreaming about your friend passing by accidentally and stopping the car and saying, "Hey, Pavel, jump in. You know, why are you standing there in the rain?" And imagine you standing there thinking, "Oh, how good it would be if a friend of mine would come like this now." And that's the kind of dream, and that's the power of the dream. Once you think of it not as you think about Lyft and Uber not as the replacement for the existing improvement to the existing taxi service, but rather solving this dream of people. And it looks like there are a lot of every person had a dream like this, and they made this dream happen. So that's kind of dream-based investment thinking that I wanted to share with you.
Okay, thank you, Pavel. Great to have you here, and very glad to see our community members growing. And yes, you should come to meet our founders, winners next year. So right now, I'm traveling between Backforth and California and Texas. One day you should come to visit Texas.